Town of Munster Town Council meeting for February 15th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please.
Councillor Schoon,
Present.
present virtually. Councilwoman Mellon,
Present.
present virtually. Councillor Gardner,
Present.
present virtually. Councillor Tulowitzki,
Present virtually.
present virtually, and President Mellon, or President Kulturitis.
Present virtually.
Dr. Andy, present virtually.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Please stand for a moment of silence and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. That will bring us down to open to the public. Dustin, is there anybody in attendance at Town Hall right now?
I am joined by a number of intrepid high school students. Would any of you like to speak?
Oh, wow.
No, I'm not seeing any action.
All right. Is there any comments online?
No one communicated with me about this meeting. No, sir.
All right, then I will close the open to the public. And that will bring us down to the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Is there
I
a
second the motion.
All right. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Being none, roll call, please.
Councillor Schoon,
Yes.
yes. Councillor Mellon,
Yes.
both yes. Councillor Gardner,
Yes.
both yes. Councillor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
both yes. And President Kulturitis,
Yes,
both yes. 5-0.
thank you. There is no old business tonight. That brings us down to new business. First on the list here is Series 2011 bond. Oh, I lost you there. There we go.
Yep. Series 2011 Economic Development Bonds.
There you go, Dustin.
So very similar to the work we did almost exactly 1 year ago, we would like to get the band back together and refinance 2011 Economic Development Bonds. This tranche of funding is significantly larger than the 2010 that was refinanced. You may look at the subject. That is a typo. It should say Series 2011. This project was for the Lake Business Center and for the students online. What we did as a community is we leveraged what's called a tax increment financing district to improve that site. So we bonded, which means we took out money, and we paid for that money that we took out with the change, which is called the increment in property tax value. So you had an unproductive Simmons Mattress Factory turned into a very productive Class A office center. So that very productive occupied Class A office center produces more property tax, which allows us to pay for the money it took to improve that site and gives us a little bit money back. What do we do with that money back? We build underpasses, pave roads, and things like that. So this was a very large project, and we have about $13 million of outstanding debt. Interest rates are very favorable right now. And just like you would refinance a mortgage, we could refinance this debt and save the town anywhere between $240,000 and $290,000 per year in debt service obligations. Attached to this memo is a number of scenarios that our underwriter produced. And we would like, tonight, there will be a series of decisions that we present you with, choices in context. But tonight, we would like your permission to enter into agreements with Baker Tilly, Stiefel, and Barnes and Thornburg to begin this work of bringing this refinancing to market.
Thank you, Dustin. Council?
Mr. President, I would move that we approve and authorize the town manager to sign the engagement letters for Baker Tilly, Stiffel, and Barnes and Thornburg for the refinancing of the Series 2011 economic development bonds.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
Dustin, my question would be, how many years do we have outstanding with these bonds? That cost savings per year, the 240 to 290, how many years is that? Can that be multiplied by?
The life of the bond. So it would be, I believe, no, I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. I would be happy to follow up with an exact date rather than a guess. That's a
Okay.
good question. And I'm sorry, I don't have an answer.
The question, when did the bond-
Thank you.
When do the bonds as issued expire?
Okay.
And when would, I would imagine the logical follow-up question would be, when would the bonds as refinanced expire? Is that accurate, Mr. Gardner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dustin,
Yes, sir.
your call date is July 15th, 2021.
Yes.
Also, the memo indicated that it would save about $2 to $2.4 million in interest, 240,000. So it is a bit of a guess, but an educated guess is you normally have a call date about 10 years in on a 20-year bond. So to answer, I think, and certainly get this so that you're 100% accurate, but I think you got another 10 years outstanding, and I think you're gonna save about 2.4 million.
I'm glad you did the guessing. I wanted to guess.
Dustin, my question is if we have any lessons learned from going through this process in 2010, would we do anything differently?
I don't think so. I think, that 2010 placement, there was a little bit of ambiguity in the market. Not a lot of refinancings happening at that time, which was right as the pandemic kind of spun into full bloom and people started working from home and everyone was kind of tentative. The analysis you have before you has 3 different scenarios, 2 of which the clerk treasurer's office and I feel are viable. The third is kind of a result of that lessons learned by the market. You're seeing a lot of people want to see property tax pledge on that debt service. We don't think that's necessary or appropriate, but it is a takeaway that many communities are kind of rolling the dice with because the likelihood of utilizing the property tax to pay this debt service is extraordinarily small. We'd have significantly more problems with our community than making these debt service obligations if we had to use the property tax. But still, I mean, just because the likelihood is extremely small, it's not zero. I can't guarantee zero. So we would say the more prudent offerings are either a private placement or a public market offering, both of which offer significant savings. But in terms of process, I think the process that we went through was prudent and successful for the town's financial interests.
Okay, thank you. And those, how long did that take to close those from the 2010 offering?
The whole process after, well, you allowed us to engage in April. So we're a little earlier this time, but it probably took, when did you remember, like 3 months?
It took a longer time because it stalled a bit
Yeah.
from the time we said, let's do it, to the time we actually did, because of the uncertainty.
Yeah, we were kind of watching the rates, seeing what would
Yes.
happen. Yeah.
Once we found a buyer for the bonds,
Yeah, it was a private placement.
yeah, but once we got someone to commit, it went within 4 to 6 weeks, it was
Yeah.
finalized.
And the resulted savings were in the ballpark of the projection? Like this is a projection we're looking at here.
Yeah, they were.
Okay, great.
And the dollar amount was significantly smaller. So the fees were higher than we projected. But in this scenario, they've done a nice job of including the cost of the fees. Where is it on here? Cost of issuance, that line.
Mhm.
So we know in advance, and because of the potential savings, we can easily absorb that cost of issuance.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
votes yes. Counselor Mellon,
Yes.
votes yes. Counselor Gardner,
Yes.
votes yes. Counselor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
votes yes. And President Kulturitis
Yes.
votes yes. That's 5-0.
All right, that brings us, can you slide that down, Dustin? That brings us to,
You know what? I'm sorry, Dr. Andy, this is the redevelopment.
that is not it.
No, you're right, you're right.
I keep moving.
Reports.
No, that brings us down. Because we're.
Oh, yes, of course.
Attorney fee hourly rate.
All right, well, can you give back to the agenda page, please? Thank you. That brings us to Westland and Bennett attorneys fees, hourly rates. There you go, Dustin. There's been a request from our attorneys to actually increase their hourly rates from I believe it was 175 to 190. The letter was actually sent from our attorneys in regards to that. This would be both for both of our attorneys, the Westland Group and also the Wickland attorney. Also, this is, I guess, something that's been discussed prior to my presidency, and it's just finally getting to us to actually take a look at this.
I would make a motion that we increase the hourly rate for services rendered by Westland and Bennett and Dave Wickland's office to $190 per hour for all their legal services rendered, including litigation for the town, beginning with the February 2021 billing.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, any discussion on this?
Yeah, Mr. President,
Yes.
I just would like to have a bit more background. You know, when I saw this on Thursday, when this letter came in, was the first that I had heard about it, and it doesn't offer much information beyond what's on the screen here. Maybe Mr. Westland could provide some more background into the basis for this. What's driving the requested change?
Do you want me to give you the historical or, I mean,
Well, I'm just looking in the context of, 2020 was pandemic year. I know the year before town employees got 0% raise. We've offered 2% raise this year. And the 190 versus 175 looks like about a 9% increase since 2 years ago. And I think the last increase was from 150 to 175 back in
well,
about 23
yeah,
months.
I mean, let me correct you. Originally we were hired at 150, that is correct, but we were also given a stipend to attend meetings. For the attendance at the meetings, I was probably making $600 an hour to go to meetings twice a month. And the reason that was because my predecessor received that stipend. And so when I was hired, I was asked if I would keep the rates the same, which included the 150 an hour plus the stipend. At the time, and I think Dr. Andy and Mrs. Mellon, who were on the council at the time, I indicated right away that it wasn't fair to the town the way my predecessor was charging fees. And so after a period of time, and I don't remember if it was 1 year or 2 years, ultimately the fee was raised to $175 an hour, but the stipend went away. So for my time at meetings, it was the same as everything else. Now, the 175 an hour is lower than what I think is commensurate in this area for municipal work. If you did a survey, you'd find that Highland pays 190, Cherville pays 190, and a lot of places, St. John pays 190, and a lot of places pay more for litigation because of the time intensity involved with litigation. You know, my private rates are almost double what this increase is. We do it, we allow for the discount because it is a municipal rate and there is a volume. You know, I'm working on cases for the town of Munster now where my co-counsel is getting 4 and 5 times per hour. And I just think this modest increase, and I realize it's 9%, but I think it's in line with the area, and I think it's in line with the service that's been provided.
Okay, you know, I was just curious since this was literally all that I had to go on in order to consider this item. I'm curious, in 2019 and 20, was there considerable increase in the amount of workload versus 2018 and previous years?
No.
Because I had asked Clerk Treasurer Miss for just some fee totals, and it looked like there was an increase in, you know, from 2018 to 19, went from about 133,000 to 175,000, and last year was 155, which was about $22,000 more than the previous year. So just curious to have some more information or more background on sort of what's driving that. I know in 2019 is when we made the change to reduce the amount of cost, as you had just articulated. And when I looked at the data, it looked like it went the other way. So that's what I was curious about.
Well, yeah, I mean, without looking at the monthly bills to know what specific item I was working on, you have one large matter of litigation that's out there currently. I don't know, you know, that's been pending for about 3 years. So I don't know, you know, where the bulk of my time for that litigation was spent. You know, I'd be if you have a question about a specific bill, Mr. Tulowitzki, I'd be happy to sit down and go through my time with you. Because I am more than comfortable with the hours that I charge the town and what I don't charge the town.
Okay. You know, I just, before a second reading, maybe you and I could have
There's only one reading of this. It's a yes or no vote.
Oh, okay. When I looked at the notes in previous years, it seemed like it was a 2 reading.
When it's an ordinance
amendment to the salary ordinance.
Yeah, when you're.
Oh, I understand. That's because that was a change from the part-time employee. All right.
Yeah, this is not an ordinance, Steve.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
David, when you were saying that the previous attorney got $600 for a meeting and 150 per hour, he didn't get the 150 per hour and 600 for meetings, did he?
No, the way
it was one of the, I mean, he didn't charge the hourly during meetings.
That's correct, Mr.
Okay.
Stewart. I assume he would bill for preparing for the meeting.
Okay.
But then the actual time at the meeting, you didn't get a separate hourly bill for that. You just paid, like, I think it was $1,100 or $1,200. And the reason I know this is because I got it. It was a W-2. You were like a W-2 employee. And so every 2 weeks, the clerk treasurer would send me a stub for, you know, a tad bit over $600. What it was commensurate with what the council gets for their stipend. So whatever that number is, and I don't remember it, but it worked out to about $600 an hour. And my initial reaction was that was ridiculous. If I'm at a meeting for 15 minutes, pay me for the 15 minutes. If I'm there all night, then pay me for all night, right?
Yes, you should get paid more for a long meeting than for a short one.
Right, and the town shouldn't get hit for a huge bill if the meeting is a very short meeting, right? It should be commensurate with the time.
Any other questions?
No questions for me.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Schoen,
Yes.
sorry, my notes are, I took too many notes. My apologies. Counselor Schoen votes yes. Counselor Mellon
Yes.
votes yes. Counselor Gardner
Yes.
votes yes. Counselor Tulowitzki
No.
votes no. And President Kulturitis
Yes.
votes yes. It does pass 4 yes votes, 1 no vote.
Okay. That brings us to reports. There are no reports. Are there any portfolio reports anybody would like to bring up?
Mr. President, just an announcement, the Board of Safety will be meeting this Thursday at 7 a.m. And it will be on Zoom. That's all the report I have.
The park board meets tomorrow.
No? Weather permitting, I'm guessing.
Yes. They have canceled meetings on occasion.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have-
Anybody else?
Yeah, no reports for me.
Okay, all
I-
righty. Steve, you good?
I
Yeah,
do.
no, I have no reports today.
All right, thank you.
Dustin?
I do.
Wendy?
Make sure the counselors each had an opportunity. I just wanted to share that a few meetings ago, we accepted and acknowledged that we received the 2021 American Bloom Grant. And as part of that grant, we need to do a community assessment. So I'm working with the town planner, Tom Vanderwood, and we're going to compile the community profile, which will assess our community vitality, our flowers, our landscape areas, urban forestry, environmental efforts, our heritage, and the overall impression that our town provides. I'll have a little more information in the March news you can use, but Tom and I are reaching out to various community leaders, the Parks Department, the Chamber, the Garden Club, the Historical Society, and getting information to present our town in a fair and wonderful light that it really is. So we do ask for community support. So if anyone knows of a secret, beautiful garden that someone is hiding and we don't know about, or a community or neighborhood garden, and not just vegetable, fruit and vegetable, but even a flower garden, we are seeking that kind of information. So it's an exciting project and we're happy to be a part of it.
Wendy, I was just talking to Barbara Whitaker today about the Munster Garden Club, and she would be a great contact.
She's on my list of people to contact. So
Okay.
far, the people that I have talked to, Tom and I have talked to, have been people that have reached out to me for something else, and I'm like, oh, by the way. So I need to sit down and really target the list. We have time. We're hoping that we can get all of our submissions before the end of March, and then we can get it all put together. The application will be on our website, the town's website. When we finally submit it, we'll put that on the website. And then we'll just keep everybody posted. There's an interview process, and you can win a prize or an award. Love an award.
Thank you, Wendy. All right, that brings us down to announcements. All town council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. unless otherwise noted. February 22nd, there is no meeting. March 1st, there's a regular town council and redevelopment commission meeting. March 8th, no meeting. March 15th, regular town council redevelopment commission meeting. March 22nd and March 29th, there are no meetings. That brings us down to adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Who's that?
Chuck Gardner moved.
Chuck Gardner, thank you. Chuck Gardner with a second by Council
Ken,
Ken. Okay.
All right, all in favor?
aye.
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 Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Dustin, would you move into the next meeting, please?
Should be up, Dr. Kulturitis.
All right, I will bring the redevelopment commission meeting to order. I will, Wendy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon,
Present virtually.
thank you. Commissioner Mellon,
Present virtually.
present virtually. Commissioner Gardner,
Present virtually.
very good. Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Present virtually.
thank you. And Commission President Kulturitis,
Present virtually.
very good. And I see John Castro, our liaison to the school board, is also present.
Hey, John.
I am virtually present. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
John.
Hey, John.
All right, that brings us to open to the public. Is there anybody there that wishes to speak? Anybody online, Dustin?
There was not, sir.
Okay, it brings us to consent agenda.
Mr.
President,
President,
I move,
Go ahead, Ken.
I move we accept the consent agenda.
Second,
I'll second that.
Gardner will second, or Steve Tulowitzki will second. That's fine with
okay.
me.
Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schoon,
Yes.
votes yes. Commissioner Mellon,
Yes.
votes yes. Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
yes. Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
votes yes. And Commission President Kulturitis,
Yeah.
votes yes, 5-0.
All right, there is no old business. Under new business, we have the Series 2011 bond refinancing redevelopment.
This just belts and suspenders. Speaking of lessons learned, it's always good to have these economic development refinancing items and the letters of engagement on both the redevelopment and the council agenda on the same evening. So would look for a motion and a vote to allow me to engage with Stiefel, Baker Tilly, and Barnes and Thornburg.
I'll make that motion.
There a second?
I will second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion. Roll call, please.
Certainly, can I have clarity? Who made the motion and who seconded it?
Tulowitzki
Steve.
made the motion and Gardner. did
Gardner.
the second.
Thank you.
That's right.
Commissioner Schoon,
Yes.
votes yes. Commissioner Mellon,
Yes.
votes yes. Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
votes yes. Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
votes yes. And Commissioner Kulturitis,
Yes.
that's 5-0.
All right, there are no reports. There are no announcements. It brings us down to adjournment.
Gardner will move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Schoon will second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, the Civic Foundation, there's a separate login for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to leave this